Good afternoon, everyone. I am Aparna Hindu from RBMI College, Greater Noida. Welcome you all to the second day program of National Level Faculty Development Program on outcome-based education, teaching, and learning capacity building. I welcome you all for the second day program. This FDP is basically there is collaboration with RBMI College, Asian Research Foundation, and Research Culture Society. We are jointly organized this FDP program. It comes under MOU, and Research Culture Society welcomes such kind of initiatives. You can sign the MOU with them, and they are organizing such a wonderful FDP. And today is the second day, and then the second day session, our speaker is Dr. Smriti Solve, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, Spicer Advent University, Pune. The topic of today's FDP is Research Innovation and Community Engagement in the NEP Framework. Dr. Smriti Solve is an accomplished academician with a PhD in education and over 10 years of teaching experience. She is currently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Education at Spicer Advent University, Pune. She possesses strong communication skills and a sound command over educational content, contributing to effective teaching and academic monitoring. Dr. Salve has specialized expertise in research methodology and has guided students in developing education, research methodology, innovative pedagogical practices, 21st century skills, project-based learning, and educational assessment. Dr. Solve has published research papers in reputed national and international journals and has presented her research work at national and international conferences. She and continues to contribute to the field of education through research publications and scholarly presentation. Dr. Smriti, you for the second day FDP program. Ma'am, please start your session.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited to be. Yes, thank you. Thank you for the response. Excited to be a resource person for this faculty development program on research, innovation, and community engagement. And I'm looking forward to exploring new ideas and connections with you all. Let's dive in and make this workshop a valuable experience. And I hope you are just awaiting to hear from the exciting and valuable title what we are going to study. You all will interact with me, and together we will learn something new, create something new. I welcome each one of you, and I'm thankful for the Research Society. I'm also thankful to ma'am for introducing me. Shall we start? Ma'am, can I start?
Your screen is visible. You can start with this.
So good afternoon once again, everyone. So today we are going to have a exciting and interactive learning on the topic of research, innovation, and community engagement in NAP framework. Myself, Dr. Smriti, your resource person, which will engage you into this topic. So for me, we will start with we have 4 topics to learn today, and today we will for the first thing which will be which you all will be learning is community engaged in NEP framework. In that we will see some case scenarios and how this topic is important from the NEP framework. So the learning objectives, what you will have is you will be able to define community engagement and its role in education, explain explain the importance of community participation in school development, participate in community-based activities to address local issues, examine local social or environmental problems and identify possible solutions, assess the impact of community engagement activities on students and society, design a simple community service project that promotes social responsibility. So when we tell about community engagement, oh, we just feel about one community, or we have some community ideas ideas which we have of our own. But when we speak about community engagement, is the active participation of parents, local bodies, NGOs, and stakeholders in education. So togetherly, when they participate, we call it as a community engagement. It's partnership between schools and the local community. And why this is necessary? Because in today, we see that we have to solve and make our students for equipable for the solving real world problems. So here it's very important that we need to have very much expertise from the local community also, who will guide our decision making in the school and who will contribute more effectively towards making our schools a better place for students to learn. And it will this is going to be through the, enhancing through real world connections. So uh, we'll just see a video on a community engagement. I'll just put up the link on the uh, chat box. Ma'am, is my screen visible? Hello, ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes, ma'am. Education. So when we talk about holistic, inclusive, and multidisciplinary education, we need to bring up upon community, which will give upon their ideas to have a better education for our children. So it emphasizes collaboration between schools, communities, and stakeholders, and also it recognizes education as a shared social responsibility. So I can give you all examples of, like, we have village internships. So like students intern with local artisans, traditional skills. Also school adoption, like colleges can adopt nearby schools, offering mentorship and resources. Also we have environmental projects wherein we can work with local community members on sustainable initiatives. Then we have skill sharing workshops. Community members teach local crafts or skills to students. So when we engage in such kind of community, when we bring about those people to have to share their views or teach to our children, we have a society wherein our values are increased. There's a discipline formation rather than the traditional way of teaching. So this is what our NEP wants us to do. So here this. And then when we see about it, we have our question in mind, ki why community engagement is important. So here it improves students' learning outcomes. As I said, we can have people from the community to come and teach to
Sorry,
kids.
Smriti ma'am, please share your screen. Your screen is not visible to us.
Okay, ma'am. When we see about community engagement and why it's important. So as I told you, when we involve stakeholders, or when we involve artists, or when we take up as a school to mentor, or we can call upon some expertise from the industry to teach something to our students, it will improve their student learning outcomes. Also, it will promote inclusivity and equity, which is very important in today's world. We need inclusivity, also we need equity. So bringing up this community engagement will enhance. Then also it strengthens schools accountability. When NEP talks about holistic multidisciplinary education, also school is quite accountable how to engage the students into this kind of workshop. So it's also important. Also encourages local ownership of education. And we are always in our education system, we have a gap between school and society. Students just learn the portion of science, maths, or whatever is given, whatever subject, English is there. They learn, they write papers, and they go, but they don't have any connection with the society. So it's very important to have a connection with the society, and therefore NEP is focusing upon to bring about community engagement. So this is the importance. And when we see about the NEP's vision for community participation, we can see that there should be clusters for resource sharing. There should be involvement of school management communities into how we can bring about community engagement. Then there should be encouragement of local experts or mentors, or we can also ask parents who are very good at who are good expertise in their industries, who can have innovative ideas in them to have as a instructor. And through this, it's NEP also has a vision to promote experiential learning through community projects. So many a times we see the drives which are taken up by the college, NCC, NSS, to clean up the beaches, to have a restoration of some local area. We have those projects which are going on, which are quite linked to the community. So here community projects, when we tell, there will be experiential learning among the students when we are connected to the community. And collaboration with NGOs and civil society organizations. We, in today's world, we have many NGOs which are very really working for specific kind of children, to teach children. Recent teacher has got award for with the slum
இல்லை
children. uh, Various NGOs, they are working with disabled children, working with some environmental issues, but our children, they don't know what is going on into the society. So it's very important that we collaborate with the NGO and civil society organizations. Also, there are the roles of parents and guardians. So the role is that they should active participation in school management communities, wherein school at a specific, at least twice monthly, they should be able to connect with the parents face to face, wherein they can ask the parents ideas, they can be connected, groups can be formed, and ideas can be brought about, and how the implementation can be brought about for children to go into and connect with the community. And also is that supporting learning at home is very essential for the
ಯಾರು
parents to take time
ಇಲ್ಲ ನೀನು
at
ಮುಗಿದ
home.
ಬಟ್
So
ಇಲ್ಲ
supporting learning at home, which is very essential. This can be brought about parents taking up the children to orphanages to see some environmental, to take up to the museums, or connected to the some orphanages wherein they are to some workshops wherein children learn something. So it's very important that parents have an active role to play, as they have their own children. So it's very important. Sometimes it's not possible from the school time every time. So but parents have to really keep in mind a vision for the children, so that they can learn at home. Then also there's a providing feedback on school functioning. So here the schools, they can have a platform wherein parents can provide a feedback on how the school needs to function, or what initiative needs to be taken up for the community engagement. And then also the strengthening home school partnership. So it's very important, not only calling parents to check the results of the children, but in giving a giving a holistic feedback on what activities are being taken up by the school to engage the children in community, and giving listing out a calendar at the beginning so that parents are also engaged, so that okay, today this day the school is organizing a community program, so how I can also put up my ideas, how I can make my child prepare, so how I can put up the interesting activities for my child to learn, rather than only my child to be on the mobile or do assignments using only their laptop. So this is very important as our approach shifts from really from the traditional mode of learning, which is just what we can say the blackboard writing and learning of the concepts and giving a written examination. So NEP is really focusing on this. Then we also have the role of local bodies and panchayati raj institutions, wherein when we see we all are really connected to what I can say social media, we can see many teachers in the rural area, in the government school, taking up so good programs for the children, wherein they are explaining the concepts so very well through the playway method. So it's very important for the local bodies and panchayati raj institutions also to see how the schools are functioning, how the schools are engaging their children into the community. So here they need to have monitoring school functioning, and it's very important that we need to have an infrastructure. When we say about community development, infrastructure also should be there, and there's also important that there should be enrollment and retention. Enrollment, we enroll with excitement, but retention, what about it? So the question also over here comes, and then promoting education for the marginalized group. So here it's very important for the marginalized groups to engage in such activities. So when we say about community as learning resource, we have local artisans and professionals as guest instructors, internships and vocational exposure. There's local history, culture, environment in curriculum, service learning, and community-based projects. I know everyone has this question in mind that it's just put up on the paper, but this needs to be taken care by the administration of the school, wherein we can put 2 days in a month to have really a day to engage with the community. We can call in local artisans who are very good at some craft and go for 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers away from a home. We always have some culture or history or some of the monuments near our home, when we don't have to always take them to a far place away from a home. So here when we have our subjects like history, so we can take them, show them, expose them to the local history, what is the culture and environment. So this will help. There will be service learning and community based projects. This is the what we can say community as a learning resource. With here I want to give everyone a case scenario in which we all have to solve a worksheet, and together we'll have an interactive session. I'll just put up the link for the in the chat box for the worksheet.
Yes, for worksheet link, you also need to share the access permissions to open it.
Yes, sir.
Just put it as open. Anyone can open the link.
Yes. This is the link for the worksheet. I put it in the chat box. Hello, dear participants, can you please let me know if you all are able to access the worksheet?
Yes, please give the access to open it.
Okay, sir.
Access denied.
I put a case wherein I'll just read to you all. Sunrise Secondary School follows traditional teaching methods, lectures, textbooks, homeworks, and written exams. Recently, parents and community members observed that students have little awareness of local issues, rarely participate in community activities, struggle to apply classroom knowledge to real life situations. They lack communication, teamwork skills, and the school management wants students to become responsible, skilled, and socially aware citizens. So here the principal suggests, what if students learn not only from books but also from the community around them? However, some teachers are concerned, how will this fit into the syllabus? How will such learning be assessed? Will it affect academic performance? How can the community be involved in formal education? The school forms a student advisory group to suggest. So here is your questions are, what is the main issue in the current teaching learning process? Why are parents and community members concerned? So here you have to, how can the community contribute to student learning? Do you think classroom learning is sufficient? What skills can students develop through community-based learning? Suggest one activity that connects classroom with learning. And how should be such activities be assessed? Which types of educational approach this case suggests? And what do you think is the main goal of this approach? If this method is introduced in the school, how would you feel? So I would like you all to participate and fill up this worksheet. So togetherly we can have a more more interactive session, and what we can see what we are learning more through this worksheet. All to tell me on your ideas on how the community can contribute to student learning. On your ideas on how you community can contribute to student learning. We can just share our ideas. We can have 1 or 2 ideas to be shared, and we can then continue. Teachers, professors, can just unmute. Anyone wants to share on how community engagement can help? Yes, I saw Dr. Malika ma'am. Am I right? Hello, Ma'am Malika. Please, can you all share your ideas? Hello. Ma'am Vandana, do you want to share something?
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good
Uh,
afternoon.
I have been leading some projects like on community, like children from the slum areas.
Okay.
And this group comes and the students are made to like asked to teach them. And this group goes around the area, identifying those students. And I generally visit the family also to know the background of the family, so that as we don't have the access to a space or something like that, we are not able to get them to come together at one place. But slowly and slowly, these children are like they have gained a lot, and many of them have been placed in higher institutions also. They are working other places. And the students who have passed out, like I generally form the everything, paper processing is everything is done by me with the help of my students. So those students who have been like they are the pass outs, they are asked to come back and teach these children. So batch after batch, they have been teaching. And besides that, they have also helped some poor children who are not able to go to schools or something like that. So they have been helping out. So this kind of extension education would really help the community if we are like devoted to it. Otherwise, even I don't get much time, but the project has been going on, so like overlooking it is like a good point for me. But this is how we have been helping the community, and I have been meeting the parents and trying to educate the parents also to change their ideology of not sending the children to the classes. So something like this can be done, and even students learn a lot. Uh, they come to know about the community services that they can do in their free time. So most of my students now they have started their own tuition classes also. So actually, it has expanded with all the students passing out and they taking up like
Yeah. Yes.
giving an hour or two for this purpose. So that kind one can initiate such community-based learning,
Okay.
and we
I'm thankful.
can
Yeah.
like have certain surveys in this area and try to identify the problems that they are facing. Another department in our college has like visited this community of the lowest caste that is there in the region, and they have
Okay.
been working out and they have been helping out the students. So this kind of work like some of us have been taking up, the projects are going on. So I think this would help a lot to students to learn, and it gives lots of discussion and everything goes on. So even students are much like educating themselves also. Like the higher education is also being held while the community service is also going on. Thank you, ma'am.
I'm, yeah, I'm thankful to you, Dr. Vandana. I'm
Hello.
glad that their
Yes,
college. Hello.
yes,
Yeah, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
I'm glad that your college and you have doing a good initiative. In fact, going to the going to such children, and in fact the children getting higher education in turn, the children coming and again teaching and giving so I'm really this is a really thoughtful idea, something which we can from ourselves give to the community. Thank you, Dr. Vandana, for sharing your experience. Thank you so much. So
Thank you.
I will
Afternoon,
just
ma'am.
yes.
Hello.
uh
Yeah,
Hello.
good afternoon, ma'am. Good
Yes,
afternoon, everyone. Malika, ma'am, this side. Thank you for
yes, yes, ma'am.
unmuting. I was waiting. So, ma'am, regarding community as a learning resource, as because I'm an educator at school level since 20 years, we do have lot many projects like visiting to the orphanage or, visiting to an old age home where children, they have a real life experience that how life is and how blessed they are getting all the opportunities in their lives. So they get to know many, other agendas of the society where people are not having the basic necessities as well. And we do visit some places like where the children are from underprivileged areas and how they are struggling to get the basic education or the basic needs in their life. So in this way, they get to know about the community. And moreover, before we go into the projects, usually we sit, we discuss. So that's a pre activity, and after coming back there is a post activity as well, where they do, you have given us lot many options in that Google form where there are presentations and project works, and maybe they will be speaking about how they felt, so writing a report. So we try to make it interdisciplinary as well. Yesterday we had a session on that. So the community as well as multidisciplinary approach is also. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
it's
I'm
yeah.
yes.
Okay, so both the concepts are covered in this project. So definitely, it gives an experiential learning, which is also a part of NEP, and children faces the real life situations, and from where they learn lot many other life skills like teamwork, how to work, in a negative situation or in an adverse situation, and also adaptability as well as patience. So I feel it's a very important part for our learning process in school as well as higher education. Thank you, ma'am, for giving the opportunity.
Yes, I'm thankful to you, Ma'am Malika, for telling us about what your school is doing regards to having the school children exposure to visiting, and then you're doing some what I can say, you're giving something exposure to them. Then again, they're visiting, coming back, they're writing the reflections. So it's a good activity, and together we can see is also focusing on what NEP wants us to learn. I'm very thankful to all of you for
Thank you, ma'am.
solving the worksheet, and I hope it gave you an insight about the community engagement. Moving on the forward with our slide. So can you all see my slide? Hello, hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We can
Yes,
see you.
ma'am.
We can
It's
see. Yes,
visible.
yes, yes. So, where we can also unmute ourselves, and we can just tell about the challenges in community engagement. Can anybody, one of you, throw light? Because there are quite challenges in community engagement. Anybody wants to share their insights? Okay, let me tell you all. So first of all, we can see there's lack of awareness about these provisions, and there's limited capacity from school management committee. And when we talk about community engagement, there are very much social economic barriers which come into the play from the parents itself. We don't want to send our kids, or lack of awareness, doing something for the community being restricted. So there are quite challenges when we see about community engagement. Also, there's also communication gaps between schools and families. Some families, they don't permit their child even to go for the field trips. So how will they get the exposure when we see the consent form? How will students learn? So there are many challenges which are there in community engagement, which needs to what I can say, be closed, so that we ourselves as a parents, teachers, can reflect more, and can create more awareness in parents to help their child involved in the community. So there are very challenges, and also when we see about our recommendations is that there should be awareness campaigns, and then there should be capacity building workshops for school management committees. There's a lot of work to do actually when we see about community engagement. There are a lot of good NGOs which are really working for this, and therefore we as schools, as colleges, need to collaborate with these NGOs, listen to them, see the agendas, have our vision aligned with their vision, and work together for a good society. So that's what we can say. And when we see, there should be strong school community partnerships, and that will ensure sustainable educational reform. When we tell about community engagement, also it's a reformation which can be brought about. So it's very important that we have our community engagement in our schools, colleges, and in our mind together as an individuals. So we'll see our next topic on accreditation, readiness, and innovation. It's always very important for us, this topic, and we are very excited. And when we see accreditation also, we have a bit what we can say, little bit stress. Okay, supervision committee is coming, NAC is coming next year, so what to do? Okay, so we have those things in our mind. So we are going to see what it is about our, how do we have our readiness, and how this we were going to see, also going to see understanding NAC or NBA criteria with an outcome based education lens. So by the end of the session, we'll be able to understand the difference between NAC and NBA accreditation and how they relate to student outcomes. Then you're also going to see how outcome-based education connects course outcomes to programs and institutions' success, and assess your institution's readiness for accreditation, including documentation, data, and improvement practices. We're going to apply measurable course outcomes and map them to progress outcomes to strengthen students' learning, and how we can plan to practical actions and innovations that naturally support accreditation and continuous improvement. So, I'll give you one, 2 or 3 questions for you all to reflect. So you all can just tell me, accreditation in my institution feels like, it's a celebration, it's a documentation pressure, it's a faculty burden, strategic opportunity, or last minute preparation. Can anybody tell me? You can unmute yourself, and can we honestly reflect on it? One person, please. Accreditation in my institution feels like. Can anybody honestly reflect and tell me one word on this?
It's documentation pressure that comes a lot.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for your answer. Then next is outcome-based education in my institution is clearly implemented, understood, but inconsistent, mostly documentation still unclear. Can one of you please reflect and tell us about it? Hello, dear participants. Please tell me, please share.
It's basically for some departments clearly implemented because I'm one of them.
Okay.
And generally, in the college, if I honestly say, it's mostly documentation.
Yes. Okay.
So the
So it's
classroom
mostly.
are trying to implement, like clearly, it should be like outcome-based education.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Then one more question for us before we see. Continuous improvements happens every semester or during accreditation cycle, or only when issues arise, or rarely? Honestly, we can tell our answers. Dear participants, how does continuous improvement happen? Does it happen every semester or during accreditation cycle, or only when issues arise, or rarely? Yes.
Again, it's me, and it's every semester, ma'am, For us, like it's every semester.
Okay, I'm happy it's every semester. Then it's really good. Okay, so for all the participants, you all can just tell me accreditation in one word. Accreditation, you all can just think what does it come to your mind when we tell about accreditation? You all can put up your answers in the chat box. Accreditation in one word.
Gaining funds for projects. Getting
Okay.
funds for projects, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. You all can share your ideas on the chat box. Accreditation in one word. Ma'am Lipika, she shared recognition. Okay. You all just share qualified or not qualified. Okay. Ma'am Obina, she shared. Okay. Certificate, right? What does accreditation in one word mean to you all? Please share your insight. I want everyone to share your ideas so we will have a good learning. I can just see uplifting the standard of the institution. Dr. Tomina, she shared. I'm happy. Okay. Trust. Okay. I'm thankful for all of you for putting up your ideas for one word. Okay. Adapting to continuous changes. So we'll see about this. Okay. So when we see the topic is not about preparing for national assessment or accreditation council or a national board of education. It's going to be about building systems where outcomes are clear, improvement is natural, innovation is measurable. So when that happens, accreditation becomes a byproduct. So once again, I'll tell you, it's not about preparation. It's about, we are going to see about building systems where outcomes are clear, improvement is natural, and innovation is measurable. So when a NAC team visits you tomorrow, what is the first thing would you check? Okay, what is the first thing you would check? Can you all type in the box? What is the first thing will you check if a NAC or NBA teams visit you tomorrow? Can I have your answers in the chat box? Dear participants, what is the thing? Can I have your answers? If an acting visits you tomorrow, so what would you check? What you would do is first thing check? Documents, okay. Dr. Swati, she mentioned about documents, right? All documents are on process, okay. Quality of infrastructure, if all the files are intact, okay. Yes, okay. So thank you for your responses. So we'll see about documentation, okay. Now we are going to see why outcome-based education matters in accreditation, okay. When we tell about accreditation, outcome-based education, okay. So accreditation now focuses on learning evidence. What students are learning, it's going to focus on that, okay. It's going to shift from syllabus coverage to outcome achievement, okay. So anything what we are learning, it should outcomes should be seen. So it's shifting from syllabus coverage to outcome achievement. As we have learned, community engagement, okay. So have students, what are they learning, what they have learned, what is the evidence of that, okay. So here it focuses on that. So your data driven decision making, okay. So here is data, we have data hand is driven and is we can take decisions, okay. It's continuous quality improvement. So here outcome based education is continuous quality improvement, okay. So documentation alone is not enough, evidence is also essential. So here is the key idea about this topic what we are going to learn. I hope we all are there, right, and we are able to understand. Can I have a yes from all the participants? So here we can see let's see the framework. Okay. So the core structure is we have the vision, we have the mission, we have the program educational outcomes, we have program outcomes, we have course outcomes, then we have the assessment and attainment and the continuous improvement. So National Board of Education and outcome based education at program level. Okay. So yes, this is a program level accreditation. It's explicitly outcome based. We do see the outcomes in this. It requires course outcomes and program outcomes mapping. So the course and program outcome, we require the mapping. We also have the attainment calculation in this. There should be a continued improvement and stakeholder involvement in this. So when we see National Board of Accreditation through outcome based education, what are the criteria? So we see first is we should have the vision, mission, and PU alignment. Then we have the outcomes articulation and mapping. So how the mapping is done. Then programs outcome attainment measurement, how the programs, whatever programs we are being offering, how it's going to be measured. Then we have student performance evidence. So not only in terms of your tests, but what are the activities being offered through the particular program, what assignments or what the things which are you're going to give to the students, and what are the evidence. And there should be continuous improvement. Like Dr. Vandana, she also shared how the students whom they have taken to a higher level, they come back again and they teach to the students. So here there's a continuous what I can say mission or vision, what is there is followed. So here also we see that should be a continuous improvement. So we are going to see NAC or outcome based education at institutional level. So institutional level accreditation, we all have gone through NAC visits and the attention which all goes, and we all see documentation which we keep as a what we can say mission or vision in our mind to have things documented. So but when we see about here through an outcome based education lens, it's a broader quality framework. It's not just like documentation alone, which I told you before. The principles lies in the curriculum design. So the curriculum design, how is the curriculum design, whether it's just the theoretical part, or what are the things which you are giving for the students to have a holistic education which is according to the NAP's vision and mission. What is the teaching, what is the learning what students are giving, what are the evaluation reforms, only pen and paper test, or what are the other evaluation reforms which have been there, and what is the IQAC processes. So here NAC is institutional quality ecosystem. When we see NAC criteria through outcome-based education lens, there are 5 criteria which are there. First is outcome-based curriculum, as we have seen, and then student-centric and outcome-based evaluation. So here, when we see the evaluation, all students, they see how much marks I get. So what is the evaluation which we need to keep in mind when we are doing the evaluation? So your research enhancing higher outcomes. Yes. When we see the after NAP, more research, how they can inculcate through the curriculum, what teachers can do to have research skills, how they can take up topics, do small research, and how it will lead them to learning of the research. So here then the criteria, student progression, what are the evidences which teachers and students themselves are keeping, how we are giving training to the students to have their records in a proper thing, and how we can have their own reflections to be written upon how they are feeling through through this activity. So then IQAC and governments for CQEI. So these are the criteria. So we are going to see NAC versus NBA. What are the OBE or outcome-based education? What are the perspectives? So here's the aspect, NBA and NAC. So when we see level, so it's a program level, we all know NBA, and NAC is for the institution level. Then the focus is explicit and mandatory. Here is integrated and supportive, as is institutional. Then your course outcomes, program outcomes mapping required and is encouraged in the NAC. Then attainment calculation, when we see, it's very compulsory for the school teachers. You all know how you all are engaged in the result, how you all are quite stress for the results. So your attainment calculation is very compulsory, and NAC is it's a good practice, as they sing. Improvement, when we see improvement, it's a data driven, and here it's IQAC driven. So this is the what we can see, a whole perspective which we can see through an outcome based education perspective. When we see integrating NAC and NBA using outcome-based education, we should have the alignment of vision, mission, then program evaluation outcome, then program outcomes, course outcomes, then they should standardize COPO mapping. Then we should have definable, measurable attainment targets through which we have projects, and we should have students to know the rubrics, what they are expected of doing. So the targets should be explained to them. Then there should be an established review and action mechanisms, which are very important, because sometimes we just give work to the students, but action and mechanism of feedback or monitoring is not done. So we need to have this also, which is a very important, and OB or outcome based education is focusing on that. Then there's a document continuous improvement. So how the continuous improvement can be done, also this is the focus of this. Then what are the key takeaways when we see about this? So outcome based education is the bridge between NAC and NBA, because NBA and then NAC. So outcomes must be clearly defined. When we have anything, now we have our learning objectives, so they should be clearly defined. They should be measurable, how we can measure, and they should be assessed, they should be improved, and continuous improvement is the heart of accreditation. Whenever we also see about students, we give work to the students, we mark them, but what about their improvement? So improvement is also one of the aspects we need to consider. So together, when we see about accreditation, is evidence plus outcome plus improvement. So together we can say this is about the accreditation. So again, we can just take a silent quick reflection on we being honest, and we can rate silently. Okay, so this is just a self reflection. So we can just like rate your institution on the clear outcomes, measured attainment, evidence improvement, and innovation skills. We can just have 2 minutes, we can silently reflect. We don't need to share on the how do you rate your institution on the clear outcomes, the measure attainment, evidence-based improvement, and innovation systems. Okay, we have seen for the 1 minute. We'll move forward. Accreditation is not about preparing for NAC or NBA. It is about building systems, as I have told you before, where outcomes, innovation, improvement become institutional culture. So we have one action or activity for you all. One action I will take in my department in the next 30 days to strengthen outcomes or innovation. We can just quickly type in the chat box, one action I will take in the department in the next 30 days to strengthen outcomes or innovation. We can just share our answers in the chat box. What would be the one action which would you take for your department? You can just type on the chat box. Okay, ma'am Nilambiki has said quality check. Okay, thank you, ma'am, for your response. Yes, dear participants, you can just, yes, Pratima ma'am, she shared about quality check. Okay, I'm thankful. Okay, we'll just move forward. Thank you for your answers. So we'll just see about one more topic for us today is about entrepreneurship and innovation, how fostering startup culture in academics. So which is what we can say the running topic for us, as we have had AI summit also. So we have many startups which have come up. So we are going to see how we can foster it in our academics, how the culture can be brought about. So let's see. When we see about entrepreneurship, it drives economic growth, which is very important, and societal development. And when we see innovation transform ideas into impactful solutions. So, and academic institutions play a crucial role in nurturing entrepreneurship, because students most the last time of their life is spent in school. So when schools, they don't foster or they don't provide such culture, how it would go about. So we need to have a startup culture in education systems. So this is there. So I want you all to type one word in chat box for you all. Entrepreneurship in academia. Entrepreneurship in academia. What does it mean? Entrepreneurship in academia. One word for it. Entrepreneurship in academia. One word for it. What do you? Innovation. Thank you, ma'am. Ashi. It's innovation. Yes, right. Critical thinking. Yes, critical thinking. When you talk about entrepreneurship, is critical thinking, right? It's creativity. Yes. Thank you. It is also upskilling, right? Thank you. It's innovation. Thank you. Thank you of all for your responses. We'll see further. Uh, on a scale of 1 to 5, how strong is the startup culture in your department? Uh, can you all type? Okay, 5. Okay, good. 3. Okay, 3. Ma'am Dr. Vandana. 4. Okay. Thank you for sharing your responses. So there's one more question for you all. Imagine your department could launch one student startup this year. What support would they need? Imagine your department could launch one student startup this year. What support would they need? What is the support? Can you all just type in the chat box? What support would the students need? Need capital. Thank you, ma'am. Support. Yes. That's also right. Infrastructure and technology, right? Investors and technology. Yes, we need investors and technology also. Capital, yes, we need capital, which is very important. We need mentorship and financial. Yes, that is also important for starting. And thank you for your responses. Uh, so, when I tell you about is this an innovation, annual seminar, incubation lab plus mentorship, faculty research publications, to student hackathon or idea challenge, is this an innovation? Anybody wants to, can you all share your ideas on the chat box? Is this innovation, annual seminars or mentorship, incubation, faculty research publication, student hackathon or idea challenge? Is this innovation? Okay, 2-4, right? Dr. Vandana has told. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Thank you for your responses. Okay. So, incubation lab plus mentorship and the student hackathon or idea challenge. Okay. So, students' challenges or ideas, when they are brought about and implemented, we can start that these are the innovation. So let's see what is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is process of identifying opportunities. Opportunities in the terms of what are the opportunities which are there in and around the school, or what students have ideas in their mind, and they have the creative innovative solutions for a problem. For that we have to take calculated risk and building sustainable ventures. So these are the entrepreneurship. The key elements from it is, first, when we talk about entrepreneurship, it needs to have creativity. We need to take risk. There should be a leadership, and there should be always a problem solving for that. Okay. When we say innovation, it's application of new ideas, processes, or technologies which will improve efficiency, productivity, and value creation. Yes, value creation. It can be technological, social, or business model. When we see about some of the examples in education, this I gave about technology is Apple, is Tesla, or A&B. When we see about education, Byju's, which was a education tech startup offering online learning resources. Then Unacademy, which is platform providing free or paid online courses. And then coding schools, institutions offering skill-based courses. So here we can see innovative, some of the approaches is personalized learning apps like tailoring education to individual needs. Then there are some of the virtual labs. There are online platforms for science experiments which students can do by themselves. And then the peer learning network, students teaching students. So these are some of the innovations and which have been there. So here there's a question always in our mind: why foster startup culture in academics? When we see our world needs innovations, we need to solve problems which are going there in rural areas. Many of the time, when we want to have hot water, it's either we having water we put our through geyser. So geyser costs costly. So we can see there's another remedy is coming up in the market, wherein there is a small machine you can just plug and you have hot water, which is causing less electricity. So this is a what we can say innovation which has been there to the regular mode of geyser. So this should be, how did it come up? And this should come up from the students, and this should come up when we have a culture in academics. So when we have it, it will encourage practical thinking. So having it in the academics will encourage practical learning. So whatever we things which are learned either in science or in languages or maths, whatever we have learned, we should have a practical lab, or lab should be established, learning should be there. It will be promoting job creators rather than job seekers, which is the what I can say the need of the hour. Many of them are unemployed, studied. So what we need to create job creators. So it's very important to have this culture in academics. Then enhances research commercialization, right? Then it's build confidence and leadership. When we are entrepreneurs, it will build up confidence and leadership skills in us. So this is important. Then we'll see what is the role of academic institutions. So here we need to introduce entrepreneurship courses. As we have seen, outcome-based education needs evidence. So what evidence? So we can have entrepreneurship courses, which we have incubation centers wherein mentors can mentor. We can have people coming from outside, giving them lessons, having workshops, delivering lessons so that students will apply them. Then we have interdisciplinary collaboration between various schools. It will promote industry partnership between school, college, and the industries, and it will such a support research and development. Our students can have research at the school level or college level. So this is very important. So this is the role of academic institutions. Then we have startup ecosystem in universities. So what are the things? What are the key components? So there should be innovation labs where rather than our science lab, what are the innovation labs? Students know, okay, this is the innovation lab. They go, they see, we have magazines or we have examples kept in there. There are mentors over there to discuss. Their ideas can be brought about. So mentors are there. So they really have what idea they have. They can go and then they can discuss. Implementation part can be done, and we can have seed funding support, industry networking, all of this which can be there in the innovation lab. So here some of the examples where you can see about the this Massachusetts Institute of Technology. They have a strong entrepreneurial ecosystem, and then Stanford University, Silicon Valley startup culture. So these are the some of the examples. What are the government and policy support which are there? If you all are aware, startups are getting some of the support from the government. There is funding, but this doesn't, students don't know it. So we as universities or schools should tell this to the students. There are innovation policies. There are startup friendly regulations also. So this needs to be, that's why when we talk about fostering startup culture in academia, this also needs to be told to the students about all of these things. So we have Startup India, which is encouraging student entrepreneurship. There are also some challenges in fostering startup culture, like fear of failure, lack of funding, then limited industry exposure, rigid curriculum, and insufficient mentorship. So we all need to think about how the challenges can be overcome through it. Then there are some of the strategies to strengthen startup culture, which can be embed entrepreneurship in curriculum. That is very important through the assignments, and how we can have innovation labs. So that's very important itself in the curriculum. Organize hackathons and startup competitions in the school, which will give an exposure to the other students also, and to the community as in whole. Then establish university incubators, which is very important. Invite industry leaders for talks, which is happening at a very small level. Some of the schools are taking these initiatives. Some of the school students, they have become expertise, so we can always call up alumni to have to speak to their own school students. Then we can provide seed funding and grants to have the innovations which or ideas which students have in their mind, because this is a very important aspect when we talk about any idea which has to be implemented. So here's there are some case studies which we have about university driven startup success. There's Google, there's Facebook. So this is they all started at Stanford University or Harvard University. So academic environments can spark $1 billion ideas also. So what are the benefits to students? First of all, they'll have hands-on experience at the school level. Then they have financial independence. They get to network with the industries, innovation mindset, what they are learning, how they can put up, they have an innovation mindset when we teach them at the school level or university level. And there's a career flexibility, not to go to a particular field. So there's a career flexibility. We will have more job creators when we talk about the startup culture. So when we conclude about it, we can see that entrepreneurship and innovation are vital for the future. Academic institutions are powerful startup launch pads, and collaborative ecosystem is essential, and encouraging innovation today builds leaders for tomorrow. So this is about the what we can say entrepreneurship and innovation. I would like to ask, unmute ourselves. Can anybody throw some insight or share what innovation is going on in your school, or how you are collaborating with the industry to have some of the to have a what I can say startup culture in your school or university? Can you all can anybody share their insight before we move out to this next topic? Participants, can anybody share how it's going on in your school or university? How do you foster startup culture, or what platforms are you giving to the students to have their ideas being implemented? How is it going on in your school or university?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there are two activities which we are doing in our school. That is, one is for the science students, especially for the science students. They are given the opportunity to participate in Tech Fest. There are many Tech Fest which goes on in the city, and to participate, first they practice in school at school level, inter school level, and then they participate at a higher level. So that is one for the science students, and for the commerce and humanities students in the school. Like last year, we had a biz spark where they tried to explore their own ideas, and for how business can be done, and there were many startup businesses which they had done. It's not just purchasing and showcasing and selling it, but they have created their own ideas, of purchase as well as sell. And it was really a wonderful event. Many other schools also came to visit and see how they are doing it. So these two activities are going on at school level as well as in the city. Apart from that, there are many national level platforms where students are getting selected, and they are participating in various activities at CBSC level. So that is also going on, ma'am. So these are the activities. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Malika ma'am. I hope I pronounced your name.
Ma'am, that's what. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you, Malika ma'am, for sharing her experience on what their school is doing to bring about the students' ideas, how they are sending students to participate. So thank you. It's a really good active initiative. So before we we'll just move to the last topic for this day, and it's about research ethics and publication. So, grant writing, IPR, and how we can avoid plagiarism. So, by the end of this session, participants will be able to understand key principles of research ethics and responsible publication, identify ethical and unethical practices in research publication authorship, recognize plagiarism and ways to avoid it, describe basic principles of grant writing and intellectual property rights, and apply research ethics principles to real life scenarios through online activities. So research ethics in one word. Can you all type in the chat box? What do you all research ethics in one word? Research ethics in one word. What do you feel about it? Can you please share your ideas in the chat box? Okay, no plagiarism. Uncle. Okay, original and ownership of the ideas. Thank you. Accountability, right? Okay, thank you for sharing your ideas about research ethics. Let me ask you one more question. Have you ever faced an ethical dilemma in research or publication? Yes, frequently, occasionally, rarely, never. Can you all I type it in the chat box? Have you all faced any ethical dilemma in research or publication? Okay, A. That is yes, frequently, right? Ma'am has told frequently. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes. Okay. Togetherly, we can say yes. We have faced ethical dilemma in research and on publication. So let's see why ethics matters. Okay. So research influences policy, healthcare, technology, and society. Whenever we are doing any research, it influences policy, healthcare, technology, and society. So ethical conduct ensures credibility, reproducibility, and public trust. When we stick on to ethics, it will ensure credibility, reproducibility, and public trust. So there will be public trust. It misconduct damage careers and institutional reputation, and ethical research is legal and professional obligation. So informed consent and participant protection. This clear explanation of purpose, risk and benefits, then voluntary participation, right to withdrawal, and then protection of vulnerable populations, then there's privacy, confidentiality, and data security, and its approval from institutional ethics committee. So what is research integrity and misconduct? Research integrity, when we talk about integrity, it's about honesty, transparency, and accountability. So what are the misconduct includes fabrication, that is making up of data, false data, then falsification, that is altering data or results, then plagiarism, uncredited use of work. So these are the misconduct. And what are the consequences? Is retraction of articles, then funding withdrawal, then legal action and academic penalties. So we see about this. Then publication ethics, what is ensures reliability of scholarly literature. So we see reliability is there, then accurate reporting of methods and results. So we report accurate methods and we report results also. Then there's proper authorship based on contribution, avoid duplicate publication and missizing, then disclosure of funding sources and conflicts of interest. So peer review and editorial responsibility. What is this? It's a quality control mechanism in scholarly publishing. A single blind, double blind, open review. Reviewers must maintain confidentiality and objectivity. Editors ensure fairness and prevent bias. There's a established premise. Publishers follow strict ethical guidelines. So when we follow ethical guidelines, when we give any paper, so when the publishers follow guidelines, we can have a fairness. So here is a small scenario which you all have. A researcher copies parts of a published article without citation in their paper, identify the ethical issues and suggest proper action. We can all answers in the chat box. I'll have the question. A researcher copies parts of published article without citation in their paper. So identify the ethical issues and suggest proper action. What is the, can we all type in the chat box? Okay, copyright concerns, right? Okay, let's move forward. There are copyright concerns when we have a published article without citation in the paper. So let's see about plagiarism and how to avoid it. Okay. So types of plagiarism is we copy directly. Then there's mosaic plagiarism and the self plagiarism. So the prevention strategies are, we need to give proper citation whenever we are taking anything from online or from any book or any article, or whether we are taking something online, we need to have proper citation. There should be paraphrasing with understanding. There should be quoting with attribution, and we need to have, you can use plagiarism detection software, and then we can maintain organized research notes. So these are some of the strategies which we can have in avoiding plagiarism. So let's see elements of a good grant. Okay, so there's a scenario, you have a grant opportunity for a small research project. So in the chat you can type key elements to make your proposal ethical and competitive. How can you make your proposal ethical and competitive? Can you all type in the chat box? You're getting a grant, so you have a small research project. How you can make it ethical and competitive? You can make it ethical and competitive. How can we make it ethical and competitive? Yes, Ankur Prakash, proper and clear research aims and objectives, right? Follow your own ideas, right? Original work, that's also very important. Relevance of research, yes, why we are conducting the research, that's also important. Thank you for your answers. Understanding the gap analysis, yes. Thinking out of the box and do market study, yes. So that's also important. Okay, thank you for sharing your insights. Let's see. Grant writing and what's the concept and the importance is, it's a structured proposal requesting research funding, is competitive and peer reviewed process, it demonstrates originality as you all have told, feasibility and what is going to be the impact, it aligns with funding agency mission and priorities. So it's a actually a proposed requesting research funding. We have the key sections when we write. First is the abstract, then the literature review, have the objectives and hypothesis, then there should be methodology, then the budget justification should be written, and what are the expected outcomes of the same. So what are the ethical issues in grant writing? Is no exaggeration of preliminary data. This should be kept in mind. Accurate representation of team expertise. This should also be kept in mind. Transparent budget planning. Where this is very much important. When we give a transparent budget planning, things can work out. And then there should be also disclosure of conflicts of interest. So when we disclose it, it gives an idea for the other party to have seen how what can be done about it. Then also compliance with regulatory and institutional policies. Whenever grant writing is there, we need to keep the policy in mind of the institutions and regulatory bodies also. So I have one activity for you all. Who owns the right? When student develops software in university lab, faculty publishes research funded by a grant, then collaborative patent with industry. Can we have your answers in the chat box? Who owns the right when student develops software in university lab, faculty publishes research fund by a grant, there's a collaborative patent with industry? Who owns the right? Okay, university, right? what about faculty, publishers, research funded by grant? Okay. Then what about collaborative patent with industry? Let's see with this question. Let's come to the topic of intellectual property rights. Okay, so I know you all are aware about the same. Is legal protection for intellectual creations. Whatever intellectual creations they have, it should have a legal protection. So it encourages innovation and commercialization. So by doing this, our students as or any individual, it will encourage innovation and commercialization. So there are types of IPR. There are patents, there are inventions, copyrights that which are publication of software, then trademarks that are for branding, then trade secrets, which are confidential formulas or processes. So these are the types of IPR. So IPR, intellectual property rights in research, is it legal protection for intellectual creations, right? We have some ideas in mind. We have those. So what about the protection? So IPR is there. It encourages innovation. We as individuals, when we have protection for our intellectual work, we will have us encouraged to have our ideas being implemented more. So innovation is there. Then I ask you all one silent reflection. One step I will take this semester to ensure research integrity. One step I will take this semester in research integrity. How can we take one step to ensure research integrity? What can we do? When we want research integrity, what can be the one step? Can you all put it in the chat box? What can be done? One step to ensure research integrity. Can be done. Can you all put your answers in the chat box? Okay, we can have, you all can silently reflect on this. So here, when we see in the conclusion, ethical research ensures scientific credibility, and publication ethics maintains academic integrity. When we see responsible grant writing builds funding trust, and then IPR protects innovation, economic value, as we have seen, and avoiding plagiarism safeguards professional reputation. So ethics is not optional; it is foundational to responsible research. So this we can keep in mind while I conclude this session. And thank you all for your active listening, and thank you. Thank you everyone for putting your answers in the chat box. I hope you could have learned from community engagement. And sir has put some of the so he has put that some of the things which director sir wants to tell. So I would ask director sir to have him to speak, to have you all to tell you all something about the Scopus journals. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Smriti Solve. Your session has really very engaging. You have taught lot many things on practical basis. We have learned a lot from your session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving your time to us. Thank you.
I'm thankful for you all, and thank you all participants. Thank you so much. Thank you.
For all the participants, we have shared the link for the feedback. Kindly fill that link. That is mandatory for all of you to fill that link.
We can't see the link, ma'am.
It has already shared in the chat box.
Please share it again, ma'am.
Okay, we'll share again. Thank you, all of you. We will meet again tomorrow at 2 for the next